Okay, let's get started reading a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Okay, so of all the ages of world of which we know anything, the age in which we live seems to be one that is outstanding because of man's money madness. I'm sorry, I didn't highlight it all. Okay, I don't know. Hmm. Six Ghosts of Fear. The Sixth Sense. The door to the Temple of Wisdom. Oh, Temple of Wisdom. The door to the Temple of Wisdom. The 13th step toward riches. The 13th principle is known as the Sixth Sense. I'm sorry. Through which infinite intelligence may and will communicate voluntarily without any effort from or demands by the individual. This principle is the apex of the philosophy. It can be assimilated, understood, and applied only by first mastering the other two principles. The sixth sense is the portion of the subconscious mind, which has been referred as to as a creative imagination. It has also been referred to as the receiving set, through which ideas, plans, and the thoughts flash into the mind. The flashes are sometimes called the hunches or inspirations. The sixth sense defies description. It cannot be described to a person who has not mastered the other principles of this philosophy, because such a person has no knowledge and no experience with which the sixth sense may be compared. Understanding of the sixth sense comes only by meditation through mind development from within. The sixth sense probably is the medium of contact between the finite mind of the man and infinite intelligence. And for this reason, it is a mixture of both the material and the spiritual. Oh yeah, it is believed to be the point at which the mind of man contacts the universal mind. Okay, after you have mastered the principle described in this book, you will be prepared to accept as truth a statement which may otherwise be incredible to you, namely, through the aid of sixth sense, you will be warned of impending dangers in time to avoid them, and notified of opportunities in time to embrace them. There comes to your aid, and to your bidding. With the development of the sixth sense, a guardian angel who will open to you at all times the door to the temple of wisdom. Whether or not this is a statement of truth, you will never know except by following the instructions described in the pages of this book or some similar method of procedure. The author is not a believer nor the advocate of miracles, for the reason that he has enough knowledge of nature to understand, and that nature never deviates from her established law. Some of her laws are so incomprehensible that they procedure what appears to be miracles. The sixth sense comes as near to being a miracle as anything I have ever experienced, and it appears so only because I do not understand the method by which this principle is operated. This much of the author does know, that there is a power or a first cause or an intelligence which permeates every atom of matter and embraces in every unit of energy perceptible to man, that this infinite intelligence converts acorns into oak trees, causes water to flow downhill in response to the law of gravity, follows night with day, and the winter with summer, each maintaining its proper place and relation to the other. This intelligence may, through the principles of this philosophy, be induced to aid in transmuting desires into concrete or material form. The author has this knowledge because he has experimented with it and has experienced it. Step by step, through the preceding chapters, you have been led to this, the last principle. If you have mastered each of the preceding principles, you are now prepared to accept, without being skeptical, the stupendous claims made here. If you have not mastered the other principles, you must do so before you may determine definitely whether or not the claims made in this chapter are fact or fiction. While I was passing through this age of hero worship, I found myself trying to imitate those whom I most admired. Moreover, I discovered that the element of faith with which I endeavored to imitate my idols gave me greater capacity to do so quite successfully. I had never entirely divested myself of this habit of hero worship, although I had passed an age commonly given over to such. My experience has taught me that the next best thing to being truly great is to emulate the great by feeling and action as nearly as possible. Long before I had ever written a line for a publication or endeavored to deliver speech in public, I followed the habit of reshaping my own character by trying to imitate the 9 men whose life work had been most impressive to me. These 9 men were Emerson, Paine, Edison, Darwin, Lincoln, Burbank, Napoleon, Ford, and Carnegie. Every night, over a long period of years, I held an imaginary council meeting with this group whom I called my invisible counselors. The procedure was this. Just before going to sleep at night, I would shut my eyes and see, in my imagination, this group of men seated with me around my council table. Here, I had not only an opportunity to sit among those whom I considered to be great, but I actually dominated the group by serving as a chairman. I had a very defined purpose in indulging my imagination through these united meetings. My purpose was to rebuild my own character so it would represent a composite of characters of my imaginary counselors. Realizing it as I did early in life that I had to overcome the handicap of birth in an environment of ignorance and superstition, I deliberately assigned myself the task of voluntary rebirth through the method here described, building character through auto-suggestion. Being an earnest student of psychology, I knew, of course, that all men have become what they are because of their dominating thoughts and desires. I knew that every deeply seated desire had the effect of causing one to seek our expression through which that desire may be transmuted into reality. I knew that self-suggestion is a powerful factor in building character, that it is, in fact, the sole principle through which character is built. With this knowledge of principles of my operation, I was fairly well armed with the equipment needed in rebuilding my character. In these imaginary council meetings I called on my cabinet members, and for the knowledge I wished is to contribute, addressing myself to each member in audible words as follows. Mr. Emerson, I desire to acquire from you the marvelous understanding of nature which distinguished your life. I ask that you make an impression upon my subconscious mind of whatever qualities you possess, which enable you to understand and adapt yourself to the laws of nature. I ask that you assist me in reaching and drawing upon whatever sources of knowledge are available to this end. Mr. Burbank, I request that you pass on to me the knowledge which enables you to harmonize the laws of nature that you cause in cactus to shed its thorns and become an edible food. Give me access to the knowledge which enabled you to make two blades of glass grow where but one grew before, and helped you to blend the coloring of flowers with more splendor and harmony. For you alone have successfully glided the lily. Napoleon, I desire to acquire from you, by emulation, the marvelous ability you possess to inspire men and to arouse them to greater and the more determined spirit of action, also to acquire the spirit of enduring faith, which enable you to turn defeat into victory, and to surmount staggering obstacles. Imperial Fate, King of Chen, Man of Destiny, I salute you. Mr. Payne, I desire to acquire from you the freedom of thought and Christ and the creative within which to expressing convictions which so distinguish you. Mr. Darwin, I wish to acquire from you the marvelous patience and ability to study cause and effect without bias or prejudice, so exemplified by you in the field of nature science. Mr. Lincoln, I desire to build into my own character the keen sense of justice, the untiring spirit of patience, the sense of humor, the human understanding, and the tolerance which were your distinguishing characteristics. Mr. Carnegie, I am already indebted to you for my choice of life work, which has brought me greater happiness and peace of mind. I wish to acquire it through understanding of principles of organized effort, which you use so effectively in the building of the great industrial enterprise. Mr. Ford, you have been among the most helpful of men who had supplied much of the material essential to my work. I wish to acquire your spirit of persistence, the determination, poise, and the self-confidence which have enabled you to master poverty, organize, unify, and simplify human effort so I may help others to follow your footsteps. Okay, that's it for today.